I'm not much of a gamer. I mean, hell, the last gaming console I bought was my Wii way back in like 2009, even though I was a tad late to the party. But if there's any game I'm willing to play, it'd be any game from the Legend of Zelda franchise. These games have received just universal praise and attention, from critics perceiving them as just gold. And many theories about how all the weird shit in these games can be explained have been brought up. So, for all my Zelda fans out there, I'm going to count down my favorite Legend of Zelda theories. Now, apparently I have to say these following things because nobody understands. I didn't come up with any of these theories, okay? And if I pronounce some of the words differently, deal with it. With that being said, here are my top 15 Legend of Zelda theories. The Gerudo's absence. The Gerudo are a defined race in the Zelda universe. However, they are absent in Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. One theory for Skyward Sword is that they just haven't been established yet, but characters such as Groose could be an early ancestor. He does have red hair and amber eyes. As for Twilight Princess, one theory proposes that after Ganondorf was sealed into the Twilight Realm, the Gerudo became hated by the Hylians, thus being forced to leave Hyrule. The Spirit Temple would be then rebuilt as the Arbiter's Ground, to be used as a prison and to house the Mirror of Twilight. Another theory, one that I like more, is that the Gerudo were banished into the Twilight Realm alongside Ganondorf, thus evolving into the Twilight. This is supported by the fact that the Gerudo symbol can be seen on Zan's throne and cloak. This can also explain why Zan felt like he deserved to be king, being the only male Gerudo/Twilight. Dark Link. Dark Link is one of the most mysterious characters in Ocarina of Time. He really has no background or motivation other than just to kill Link, and he comes out of nowhere in the Water Temple. Where did he come from? Some believe that Dark Link was created by Ganondorf, as a test to see if the hero was worthy. Others believe that Dark Link represents Link's anger. I mean, Link had no parents, he didn't have a fairy like everyone else did, and he wasn't even a real Kokiri like everyone else was. After Link pulled the Master Sword, the chosen hero was revealed, the hero of time, and his inner darkness fled to be manifested into Dark Link. Gerudo Valley accessible by young Link. In one point in development, young Link was supposed to be able to go to the Gerudo Valley. This is supported by a heart container that could be found in Gerudo Valley during young Link's time. However, it's not possible to get it without hacking the game. There's even some unused text by the Carpenters, assumingly for young Link. On the subject of removed content from the game, there was originally supposed to be a light-based temple. This would be where you would meet Rauru, get the light medallion, learn the Prelude of Light, and possibly receive the light arrows. However, all the puzzles that were apparently used in the light temple ended up being in the Spirit Temple. The Shadow Temple. The Shadow Temple is by far the freakiest temple in Ocarina of Time. Some claim it's designed to be a torture chamber, or even a prison. Zeldapedia states that the Shadow Temple could have been used as a place to absorb all the negativity in Hyrule, explaining the monsters and morbid appearance. Bongo Bongo is theorized to be a Sheikah, since he owned the Lens of Truth, a Sheikah item. It's possible that when Bongo Bongo was a man, he used the Lens of Truth to portray the royal family. He was then sent to the bottom of the well to be executed and was revived as the Phantom Shadow Beast Bongo Bongo. It's also possible that Ganondorf created Bongo Bongo, since it is never mentioned when Impa first sealed the beast. Bongo Bongo is never seen when Link is a child. The Sheikah and the Dark Interlopers. Some fans have theorized that the Twilight from Twilight Princess may have connections to the Sheikah. Both tribes have dark magic, connections to the royal family, and similar symbols. Some have also theorized that the Sheikah are the Dark Interlopers. In the manga, Sheik describes of a time when the Sheikahs did betray the royal family. This could explain the tear on the Sheikah symbol, commemorating the event, and why the tear is missing on Zan's throne. The evolution of the Zoras. In the Wind Waker, the Zoras appear to be missing throughout the whole adventure. Strange though, because the world of Wind Waker has plenty of water in it. So where are the Zoras? It's believed that the Zoras are extinct, and the Rito are evolutionary descendants of the Zoras. But why would the Zoras need to evolve anyways? One theory is that when Ganondorf returned, the gods fled all of Hyrule to keep Ganon away from the Triforce. Ganondorf, searching for the Triforce, sends his monsters all throughout the sea to find it, killing the Zoras in the process. Is the Masked Salesman dead? The Masked Salesman is a peculiar character, especially in Majora's Mask. Everything has been suggested, from him being a figment of Link's imagination, to even him being Majora itself. One of my favorite theories is that the Masked Salesman is actually dead throughout all of Majora's Mask. This would explain his erratic movements, why he can pull out a giant organ out of nowhere, and why he just vanishes at the end of the game. He also needs Link to retrieve an item for him in 3 days. This could symbolize the Masked Salesman needing something to be done so that his soul can finally be at rest. He needs his precious item back so he can finally move on. The Forest and Water Temple in Ocarina of Time. In Ocarina of Time, there's evidence that the Forest Temple was supposed to be the Wind Temple, and that the Water Temple was supposed to be the Ice Temple. The Forest Temple medallion has a wind-like vortex on it, and the Water Temple medallion has an image of a snowflake on it. Also, in Ganondorf's castle, the Forest Temple section has a wind-type puzzle to it, and the Water Temple section has a lot of ice to it. Where's Termina? It's commonly accepted that Termina is a parallel universe to Hyrule. In fact, it's in Hyrule Historia. And all the people in Hyrule have their Terminian counterparts, though some speculate that Termina represents something more. Since Hyrule is the Promised Land, bearing the gift of the Triforce, some believe that Termina represents Purgatory, maybe even Hell. Link does fall down a deep hole to land in a world with its own sky and moon. A popular theory is that Link could in fact be dead throughout all of Majora's Mask, probably from not surviving the fall. All 3 of the main masks represent the spirit of a person who's passed away, which in turn can be represented by an elegy statue. But there's also a Link statue. Could this imply that Link is dead after all? And if so, what does that make Termina? A purgatory for Link, or a doomed hell? Majora's Mask and the Fused Shadows. The origins of Majora's Mask is very briefly explained in the game. We know that the mask was created by an ancient tribe. Many believe this tribe to be the same that created the Fused Shadow in Twilight Princess, the Terminian counterpart of the Dark Interlopers. Majora's Mask and the Fused Shadows could be the same item, just in parallel worlds. This could explain their similar eye feature, their similar origin and creators, the ability to corrupt those who come in contact with the mask, and why Zant and Majora both have wacky fighting styles. The sages from Ocarina of Time. A popular fan theory is that the sages from Ocarina of Time are dead when Link is an adult. Rauru was probably already dead, since he was already in the Chamber of Sages. We never see Saria in the future. It's assumed that she went to the Forest Temple looking for Link, and died. We see Darunia in the Fire Temple, but after he goes after Vivalgia, we never see him again, until we see him in the Chamber of Sages. Ruto is kind of a stretch, since she is seen in the Water Temple, but she disappears at a dead end. Maybe it was her spirit. Impa went to fight Bongo Bongo, but could have possibly died. The last we see of Nabooru is her being attacked by Twin Rova. There's even a gossip stone saying that she haunts the desert. The Zelda timeline. Before the official timeline was released, a lot of Zelda theorists were going crazy about what the Zelda timeline could possibly be. Needless to say, this theory isn't that interesting anymore with the release of Hyrule Historia. However, at the time, it was the biggest topic in the Zelda community, to the point where you're either a splitist, you believe in a split timeline, or a linearist, you believe in a linear timeline. I mean, what was the damn timeline? For every theory that a fan proposes, there seems to be a few holes in it that another theorist points out. There were all sorts of different variations of timelines, from theorists including Ocarina of Hero, True Reg 2097, Lancoon, and many others. It was a huge subject of debate. Even after the release of Hyrule Historia, the Zelda timeline remains an interesting topic, with the release of every new game. The 5 Stages of Grief. One of the most popular theories in The Legend of Zelda revolves around Majora's Mask. The theory is that Termina's 5 main areas are meant to symbolize the 5 stages of grief. Clocktown is denial because nobody is acknowledging their impending doom of the falling moon. That rhymed. Woodfall is anger, since the princess is missing and the Deku King is just blaming it all on the monkey. He's resorting to anger. Snowhead is bargaining, since Damarni is begging Link to use his magic to save his people. The Great Bay represents depression. Maigu dies trying to protect Lulu's eggs, and Lulu just ends up staring into the distance. The Icona Valley finally represents acceptance. With no masks left, Link has to accept what has happened by helping others who refuse to change. The Fierce Deity and Majora. The Fierce Deity is an interesting character. So little is known about his origin. There seems to be a spirit in the Fierce Deity mask as well, possibly an evil one. Majora did describe it as the true bad guy. It is implied through what Tattle says, and the fact that Majora gave Link the Fierce Deity mask, that the mask was created by a deity far more powerful than Majora. Some speculate that the Fierce Deity is some type of god, and that Majora was some type of Satan. If Fierce Deity really is a god, he could be the 4th piece of the Triforce, since he has the golden triangle on his chest. Others believe that he was a bad guy, so bad that even Majora feared it. Others say that Link and the Fierce Deity are one and the same. The Fierce Deity is Link's Terminian counterpart, chosen by the gods to protect Termina from Majora. Tetraforce Theory. This theory believes that there's a 4th piece to the Triforce, the missing one that would fit right in the center. In Ocarina of Time, Link's Hylian shield contained a golden triangle on the bottom that would fit within the Triforce. The shield has been redesigned numerous times, because it just caused so much controversy. But even Zelda's apron had the 4th piece. Now, the number 4 has some significance in the Zelda games, even more than 3. In Minish Cap, there are 4 elements: red, green, blue, and purple. In 4 Swords, you get to play as 4 different colored Links: red, green, blue, and purple. In Majora's Mask, there are 4 main lands and 4 giants. In Twilight Princess, there are 4 light spirits: Eldin, Faron, Lineru, and Ordana. Each are named after the 3 goddesses of Hyrule, except Ordana. Now the question is, who owns the 4th piece? As mentioned before, it could be the Fierce Deity, as an explanation for why there's evil in the world. There's also the popular goddess of time that Zelda mentioned in Majora's Mask. Speaking of Majora's Mask, there's a great fairy of courage, wisdom, power, and kindness. There's also the Triforce of Shadow, represented by the space in between. While there's not much evidence for this, it could explain Dark Link's existence, and why the Shadow Medallion has an upside down triangle. Finally, in the Minish Cap, there's something called the Light Force. At the end of the game, 3 flashing triangles all appear in a row, and then a 4th one afterwards. So far, we have the color purple, Ordana, kindness, and something to do with light or time. These are all clues to find out who can own the 4th piece of the Triforce.